Hi, we're Quaint and Curious Volumes. My name is James. So today is Wednesday, to be quite honest with you. And I did my Tag Tuesday video today on Wednesday. So I thought, since it was a video talking about my reading plans for the rest of the year, and I held up and displayed 3 books of poetry that I have in progress, that for Poetry Thursday, I would read a little bit from each of those 3 books. So I did my Tag Tuesday on a Wednesday, and so to make up for it, I'm doing my Poetry Thursday on a Wednesday. Though this will come out on Thursday, but that's okay. So first, I'm going to read from Pablo Neruda's 20 Love Poems and a Song of Despair, translated by W.S. Merwin, the great American poet. I read number 10, We Have Lost Even, or Hemos perdido aún. I'm just going to read it in English. We have lost even this twilight. No one saw us this evening hand in hand while the blue night dropped on the world. I have seen from my window the fiesta of sunset in the distant mountain tops. Sometimes a piece of sun burned like a coin between my hands. I remembered you with my soul clenched in that sadness of mine that you know. Where were you then? Who else was there? Saying what? Why will the whole of love come on me suddenly when I am sad and feel you are far away? The book that is always turned to at twilight, and my cape, the book fell that is always turned to at twilight, and my cape rolled like a hurt dog at my feet. Always, always you recede through the evenings, toward where the twilight goes, erasing statues. So, that's a pretty good one, and we're starting to see, like, or I am, because I'm reading it. You're not. Some of these turns of phrase, these odd couplings, like come back. He reuses them, and then I'm going to read another pretty well-known poet in English, William Shakespeare, from his sonnets. I'm going to read Sonnet 49. Against this time, if ever that time come, when I shall see thee frown on my defects, whenas thy love hath cast his utmost sum, called to that audit by advised respects. Against that time, when thou shalt strangely pass, and scarcely greet me with the sun, thine eye, when love converted from the thing it was, shall reasons find of settled gravity. Against that time do I ensconce me here, within the knowledge of mine own desert, and this my hand against myself uprear, to guard the lawful reasons on thy part. To leave, poor me, thou hast the strength of laws, since why to love I can allege no cause. Okay, so I think these 2 poems are, well, they're on similar topics, aren't they? Although I believe the speaker in the Shakespeare sonnet is currently in a situation where he has, let's say, access to his beloved, whereas but he's looking forward to a time that he knows will come when he will not, and the lover will be absent, and he will be sitting there with his book dropped to the floor and his cape lying around him, just wondering where it all went, right? All right, I'm going to read from this collection, Late Montale, by Eugenio Montale, translated from Italian by George Bradley. I'm going to read a poem called The Clock with the Carillon Chimes, Okay. The old pendulum clock with the Carillon chimes came from France, possibly at the time of the Second Empire. So faint was its voice, it didn't ring or toll, and it exhaled rather than played Escamilo's entrance aria, or Les Cloches de Corneville, novelties of the era when it was purchased, possibly by that ancestor who wound up in the madhouse and was buried, without regrets or obituaries, or other announcement which might disturb his as yet unborn descendants. Those came after, and lived without any memory of whoever brought it into their inhospitable home, lashed by the fierce libeccio wind, and who among them ever heard it ring, Its alarm, of course, could never arouse anyone, not already awake. I alone, once in the dawn, insomniac as usual, detected its ghostly melody, its breath of the bullfighter song, but only for an instant. And then the voice in the clock case didn't die, but sank to a whisper and said, "No mechanism or tension exists that won't run down someday, as I, who is time itself, hereby abandon time. To you, the only listening, I say, try to live in timelessness, the thing which no one can measure," whereupon his voice ceased entirely, though for many more years the clock still hung on the wall. Probably there's still some shadow of it on the plaster. So, so I think that's this is one of those poems that is kind of like prose with carriage return stuck into it, but still, it's still quite effective as a thought about time and clocks. It has me recalling a clock that we had in our house when I was young, which was actually a clock that was in my great aunt's house. That was very old and sort of like a grandfather clock that you hang on the wall. So it was a wooden box and it had a little shell sticking out the side, and the weights that would come down and go up, and to sort of set it once a day, you had to sort of drag the weight from the bottom to the top. You had to do something with it. Okay, I wasn't allowed to mess with the clock, but yeah, and it frequently had to be visited by a clockmaker to adjust it and to keep it running. But yeah, kind of was an heirloom, and I think one of my sisters has it in her house now, and I don't remember which one. But anyway, that's what I have for you on this Poetry Thursday. I hope you're reading some good poetry. I hope you're reading any poetry at all. Let me know what you're up to, what poems you're reading, and thank you for watching. Bye.